and welcome to another episode of Sport Federation TV, the show that brings you all the news about all the sports in all of the Western Cape. We've got an amazing show lined up today. We have cheerleading, Q sport, wrestling, and even Scrabble. I'm Lenyukta Chetty, and thank you for tuning in. First up, from the world of cheerleading, we have Kaylin, Kritzinger, and Samantha Higgins. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. It's great to have cheerleading on, and I'm sure people are excited to learn more about this sport, because a lot of people would feel it's just a school-based thing and that's where it ends. Yeah. And Kaylin, you are still at school, grade 11.
Yes, I am.
Okay, how long have you been involved in this sport?
For 5 years now.
5 years?
Yeah.
Okay, so since you've been in high school then?
Before high school, grade 6, I joined. I was one of the first people to join, so I've been there for 5 years now.
Okay, and Samantha, with you, what is your involvement in this sport now?
At the moment, I actually run Cheerstars. It's my company, and then I've got coaches that work for me. We've got quite a few teams. We started off, as Kaylin said, with one team at Fisher Primary School, and it was actually just like a handful of kids that just wanted to come and try it out, because cheerleading was obviously not very popular in South Africa. It wasn't very well heard of. In Johannesburg there are a few teams, but in Cape Town there was nothing. So we started off with 5 girls, and we just started teaching them some stunts, and then we approached Fisher Primary School. That was our first school, where Kaylin was in grade 6. And we started off there, and our first year we had our national championships, which were held in Cape Town, because we are actually mixed with the Majorettes Federation, so they held cheerleading and Majorettes in Cape Town that year, which I think was 2013, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember, but that was the year when we did our first national championships, where we came 3rd in South Africa on our first year competing in
a national championship. That's
so we're
something
very proud.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, Kaylin, you also quite highly decorated for your 6 years in the sport. One of the accolades that you have is that you're the captain of Fisher High's cheerleading team.
Yes, I am. I've always been co-captain. I always ended up being the co-captain, and then this year I was voted captain, and I have an amazing team, so I'm super happy to be the captain of such a great team.
Yes, and I mean it is quite an honor to be named or voted as the captain of a cheerleading team, I would think, because it's a teamwork sport.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so there has to be that mutual trust between all the participants in the team. Hey.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about trust and dedication, and it's all family. Like, it's all about family. You got to all work together, or else it's just not gonna work unless you're all working together. And I think that's the main thing about the whole team, just working as a team together.
Right. Now, Samantha, you mentioned that you are involved with the company Cheerstars.
Yes.
How does your business tie in with the federations?
I'm also the coach representative for cheerleading at the WPMCA. And then, so I work quite closely with them, and I do a lot of development. When a school wants to start up cheerleading, then we obviously love it. So then I'll go out to that school, and we'll try and set it up in their school and help them with stunts and help them whatever they need us to do. So that's my involvement there in terms of the development.
You have competed in the sport yourself?
Yes, I actually started cheerleading many years ago when I lived in Johannesburg. My first team was Alberton Cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Yes, and then when I moved down to Cape Town, there was no cheerleading here, and I've actually got a tumbling business as well. So first I was coaching tumbling, and then I thought I'll just start my own cheerleading teams, and seeing as how there aren't any teams here. And it's grown hugely, because from that one school that I said, we then had the Fisher High School where the kids feed into, and then we've started off with the American International School, a primary school, and then this year we've actually got our first high school team, and then we also have a tertiary team that everybody feeds into, and we do a lot of events as well as competitions. We're doing the Stormers game this weekend. We did the Cape Town 10s, so it's quite a fun thing to do.
Yeah, as well. and amazing other athletes, because you are athletes too, that you get to meet and support.
Yes, definitely.
Now, Kaylin, you've also competed provincially, and you have Protea colors as well.
Samka
I have
colours.
Samka colours, so it's
Samka
SA
colours.
colours. It's not just yet Protea colours.
Oh yes,
but
it's only
yeah.
when you actually go and
overseas,
and
yes.
represent the country that you are awarded the colors.
Yes.
Tell us about the experience for you of achieving those different levels.
It was hard. It was very hard. When we had to travel to Gauteng to go and stay for 5 days, and it was honestly, I was the only girl going from the Western Cape, so I was honestly dreading it. I was so nervous. I got there, I knew no one, and but we managed to all work together and still become like a family, even though we didn't know each other. And that helped me a lot. And after the 5 days, I learned so much. I brought a lot back to the team, and I said, like, there's some things that we did, and honestly, it helped me so much with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now for you, Samantha, it must be amazing. I mean, you watch these young women, and are there boys also involved?
Yes, it's a co-ed sport.
Yeah, lovely. So you watch these young people develop over years, and especially with a sport that sometimes gets a bad rap in a lot of the American movies based around it, and it seems like more dancing sequences than traditional cheerleading like we would see at a sport tournament. How is it different from the reality that the movies portray?
Well, first of all, I think in the movies they portray a very sort of popular, and sometimes there's a lot of nastiness between the girls, and it's a popularity contest, and you have to fit into a certain bubble in order to be a cheerleader, which it actually isn't. Even internationally, that is how it's portrayed in film, but generally cheerleaders are actually not like that. It's an athletic sport, so the people depend on each other. They become best friends through the sport. There's no set bubble that you have to be in terms of popularity to fit into the cheerleading team. Everybody has their own space. We've got girls that do flying, and we've got the girls that do lifting. We have excellent tumblers. We have a very, very wide array of talent.
Yeah.
So I think that it's portrayed in a way where it's actually not an athletic sport, which is not the real way that it is.
And I'd like to touch on the gender issue a little bit as well. Like we see in netball, there's a lot of men that are enjoying the sport now and competing on very high levels. And it's good to hear that, well, in a country that has its stereotypes, that there's boys that are affiliating to the sport. How have you seen that affect the sport?
It's actually been great. We still do have a little bit of a stigma about boys in cheerleading, so it is quite difficult. It's actually quite funny because in the primary school and the high school we get a few guys coming in, but in the tertiary, then I think the guys stop worrying about what everybody thinks, and our tertiary team is massive. We have probably more guys than girls on the tertiary team now.
Yes.
But it has been kind of a feed through. We've had, when she went for her SA colours, one of our boys as well that started in primary school and also went through the ranks, he went with her, and he also got his SA colours, which was a huge achievement. And then one of our other boys as well on the high school team, he's got his Western Province colours and for junior, and then he'll be going now for his senior as well. So it's nice to see the boys grow through that rank and like just stick it out, and they show the guys that it's not actually just a pom-pom dancing girly sport. It is really quite a tough
athletic,
sport.
yeah. And I think it speaks a lot as well to the kind of home environment children have, where certain stereotypes are either emphasized or not, and the support you'd get, like if you are a boy who wants to play netball or go and cheerlead, for example. Yeah. So a lot of supportive parents and stuff in your circles. Hey.
We have fantastic parents. I must say, I really love our parents. They are so supportive. They are really awesome.
Okay. Now, tell us about some of the events that we will have to look forward to in the Western Cape.
There's quite a few. We do the Stormers events. We do the 10s rugby.
We've done the Muddy Princess.
Oh yes.
Oh, lovely.
We also did the athletics championships. We did the cheerleading for that in Greenpoint Stadium, and we've got all of our competitions coming up now as well. Our first competition is the 24th of March, and then we'll have a few competitions throughout the next few months, and then our Western Province championships will be the 2nd of June, and then we are off to Oudtshoorn for nationals. on the 30th of June this year.
Ah, lovely. Oh, Surin's also quite beautiful. Hey.
Well, it's the first time we're going. We haven't actually been.
Then
So
you
we're
must
very
go
excited.
to the Kango Caves.
Yes, that is on the agenda.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're athletic enough to go through all of those little tunnels of the. You gotta enjoy the
Gotta
Western
take the
Cape.
moms with us though.
Well, that's fun.
Could
They'll be game.
Yeah. Now, Kaylin, I'm interested to know, as a young woman that's been involved in the sport for so long, what would you say is the most defining characteristics of the sport that has changed you or altered you in a way that you see things differently? How has it developed you as a young woman?
I think it's come to the thing of the whole vision of thinking things all about popularity and whatever. Like, I used to watch Bring It On when I was younger, and now I see some of the tertiary people are in the new Bring It On, and we were watching, and you just think about how people are portrayed in the movie, that they're so popular, and it's such a big thing about you, the specific type of person, but when you actually come to the group, it's so different. Like, everybody loves each other and we're nice to people all the time. Like, it's not all about we're the populars, like, you gotta watch out. And also, like, a lot of the time we used to think it was all about cheering for other people, when it's not about cheering for other people. It's cheering for yourself and for your team, and it's a competitive sport. It's not about cheering on rugby players or anything like that. So I think it's kind of taught me that cheerleading isn't what people always portray it to be. So
things aren't always what they seem.
Exactly.
Yeah. With you, Samantha, I'd be interested to hear your perspective as well as a facilitator and trainer in the sport. What is your goals, besides the fact that we want to get these young people to that level of athleticism where they win? What are your other goals in the sport for these young people?
I think our biggest goal is probably confidence. That's the biggest thing that we see and that I really feel proud, is because our athletes go through different progressions and different stages as they move from primary school to high school. And like watching Kaylin grow up, I was actually looking at some pictures of her earlier. She's tiny, but just seeing that shine of confidence that they get from achieving all the things that they've actually been able to get, and the stunts that they thought they could never get, and they would tell me, we can't do this and we can't do this, and now they're just up, everything's hitting, and then there's new challenges of things that they feel like they couldn't accomplish. But we know that they'll get there as well, and they'll accomplish those things too. So I think it's really that growth of confidence that we see in the children, that knowing that they can achieve things that they thought they could never do. That is the hugest thing. And then also, obviously, fitness. We are obviously big on fitness. We are cheerleading. So it's good to see that the kids really start committing to their fitness, and they work harder and they practice at home. And we see that a lot, especially with our tumbling. They go and practice a lot of these things at home so that they can get better positions in the team. So that makes a big difference as well.
Absolutely. So it's kind of a very holistic development,
Yes.
like with well, all the sports. It's just about where the cheerleading appeals to you as opposed to another sport. Hey,
Yeah, that's true.
well, excellent. Now, with the Western Province Majorettes in cheerleading, you have a Facebook presence?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Is there videos available on your page so people can see exactly what an actual cheerleading set looks like, as opposed to the ones that we see on movies?
Yes, we've actually got a website, which is www.cheerstars.co.za, and then all of our teams are actually on that website as well. Or they could you could have a look at our Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/Cape Town Cheerleading and Tumbling, and there's quite a lot of videos on there. And then if people wanted to have a look more and see cheerleading and majorette, then they could head over to the WPMCA website or their Facebook page as well, and there's loads of videos that they can have a look at.
Okay, excellent. And obviously information of how to affiliate to cheerleading and majorettes.
Yes. And if anybody was interested in finding out about cheerleading, they're more than welcome to just contact me if they go to my website and just
Cheerstars.
Yes, cheerstars.co.za. They can say contact me, and then I'm happy to give some information.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much. Kaylin, all the best. May you continue to excel on international stadiums, you and your team.
Thank you
okay.
so much.
And thank you as well for giving back to the community and creating these opportunities for the young men and women out there.
Pleasure. One more thing, we've got, I actually don't know if anybody knows this, but there is a lot of growth where people can go with cheerleading, not only like our our tertiary team that I was mentioning, but Stellenbosch University's got cheerleading, UCT's got cheerleading, UWC's got cheerleading. So even once they've finished with primary school and high school and they're heading into tertiary, there's so much more for cheerleaders.
Excellent. And I guess it's just going to grow in strength when the
Yes.
numbers come in and the interest. Hey.
Yes.
All right, excellent. All the best.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, after the break, we're going to be joined by two phenomenal players from the world of Q Sport. But remember to also keep your cell phones ready, because you're going to get another opportunity to win that case of assorted Bashes drinks later on in the show. Cape Town's favorite cool drink. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after the break.